What's going on, guys? It's Makai. So we got the Aizen missed details for Bleach Rebirth the Souls. As you guys know, this is a series we do every week when a new character comes out. If you don't want to miss out, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe. I'm Makai saying what yo, and let's hop into this video. Over on the website, we got the new PNG for Aizen. Then we also have the figure in action features to go over. For his figure, it states, Captain of Squad 5 of the Gotei 13. He is admired not only by his vice captain, Momo Hinamori, but also by Shinigami of the other squad, and also highly popular as a special instructor at the Soul Society or Soul Academy or Mayo Spiritual Academy. His Zanpakuto is Kyokusui. This is the third time a character has mentioned Momo Hinamori. It seems to imply that if Momo's not a playable character, why do we care about her so much? We'll wait and see. Now, getting into his action features, it states that Aizen's a character whose fighting spirit automatically accumulates and the battle itself evolves. As time passes from the start of the battle, it will forcibly transition to the second stage of the hogyoku fusion, and from that state it can be awakened by accumulating more fighting spirit. Again, it states that fighting spirit automatically accumulates. It states that after awakening, if your soul reaches 0 while fighting spirit has accumulated to the maximum, you will be reawakened to the 4th stage of the hogyoku fusion. In addition, instead of spiritual power, there is a hogyoku fusion level, and the performance of the technique changes depending on the level. In the first stage, the effects of Kyokusui allows you to consume the reverse gauge and nullify some characters' soul breaking techniques once. Kyokusui allows Aizen to consume the reverse gauge and nullify some characters' soul breaking techniques once. It seems as though this is going to be the way in which case you potentially could counter Soifon's ability. From here, we have to go into his character learn more section. We're greeted with the stats for Aizen, and the stats goes as follows. He has a 4 in attack, he has a 2 in speed, he has a 3 in reach, he has a 4 in durability, and he has a 5 in skill. Aizen's main stats are going to be his skills, his durability, and his attack. Ease of use is set at a 2. His description on the side states that he's unparalleled power beyond constraints, the traitorous 5th division captain who boasts the highest level of Ryatsu among all Shinigami. Then we get into his moveset. The first is his signature attack. This is called Ryatsu. As long as you take a stance and hold down the button, the opponent's attack will be negated back at them. When you release the button or after a certain period of time, it releases a shockwave around you and attacks you, as in the person. If you are attacked while in stance, the damage of the shockwave will increase. Aizen has an ability, and this is the signature, where if someone attacks you just at the right time, you can negate their attack. It will send a shockwave which will damage them. To how powerful this will be, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Then we know his Ryatsu techniques 1 and 2, El Escudo, which is the shield, but it states that the guard gauge will decrease once this is activated, and until it reaches 0, it will negate the opponent's attacks. Then his Ryatsu technique 2 is hado number 90, kurohitsugi. It attacks by slashing front, and if it hits, it discards the chant and follows up with a black coffin. Damage increases according to the fusion level. Then from here, we are greeted to the description for his awakening, Hogyoku Fusion 3rd stage. Its performance is strengthened as its fusion with the Hogyoku progresses and it reaches an existence that is beyond reason. Although it takes time to awaken, his status increases significantly compared to the other characters. By increasing his Hogyoku Fusion level, he is able to demonstrate even greater power. His reawakening is the Hogyoku Fusion 4th stage, and it states that if the spirit reaches 0 or reishi after the awakened state and the fighting spirit has accumulated to the maximum, the fusion with the hogyoku progresses and it is revived. We're getting this thing where if a character dies but their fighting spirit has accumulated and they're awakened, then it revives them in new form, which is the hogyoku fusion 4th stage or butterfly Aizen. Now this second one gives us a sneaky suspicion as to we might get Hogyoku fusion final stage, but it states hogyoku fusion level. It states that it exists in a place of spiritual power and accumulates automatically during battle. The performance of the technique will be enhanced according to the hogyoku fusion level. There's a maximum of 5 hogyoku fusion levels. Now the assumption is that if hogyoku fusion, once it gets to level 2, you go to the second stage and then you progress for each level, then that would mean that there's a grand total of 5 forms of Aizen takes in this game. His base form, the covered form, the mullet Aizen, 4th one which is butterfly, and then the 5th one which would be monster form Aizen. Now that's the assumption based upon them stating that is 5 levels. The next section gives that more reason to be the case because it states that the second stage, after a certain amount of time has passed from the start of battle, the second stage of the hogyoku fusion will occur, which we're stated this is forced. You have no chance of stopping it, it just happens automatically. The hogyoku fusion level will temporarily be lost, so either that means it goes down to 0 or it becomes like inactive for a certain period of time. So I assume that it goes to 0, so you go default to 0 and then it goes back up. Then it says although it's weaker than its normal state, it becomes easier to attack from a distance with special flash attacks, which we've seen in the trailer, and step speed attacks. From this state you can awaken by building up your fighting spirit to the maximum level. Going back to the hogyoku fusion level, if when you go into your second stage you go back down to 0, then it gives more than enough reason that the final stage or the final fusion might in fact be a form. But we're gonna have to wait and see when we get Aizen, because even though Ichigo, they don't state that Ichigo has to have hollow mask as one of the moves that he can use, you see it in the gameplay, and you have seen it briefly in the full gameplay with Byakuya, so it comes down to reason that that might be the case with other characters with certain things. But I know this video was a long one, we had to go over a bunch of stuff. What do you guys think about this? Sosuke Aizen seems to be the most complicated character thus far. Give me your thoughts. I'm Makai saying what yo, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.